Today we got a very special episode for you guys. Basically, we're just going to go ahead and show you how to install this differential cover for 350Z onto an S chassis. What we're working on today is our 2017 race car. It's got a 1J 350Z transmission. So we basically made a way to kind of put a 350Z differential into the chassis in order to get really good ratios and a bunch of different differential options. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of modification that you're going to need to do to the differential in order for it to fit. And so these are just some homemade bushings that we made right here, but typically the differential is about this thick. I would say maybe an inch. And we took it down to about 3/8 of an inch, and then it's completely flat on that web right here. And we're basically going to make some offset bushings, CNC some offset bushings, to where you can directly install this into the subframe. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how it fits and what we did to kind of get it to work with this chassis. Again, this side you can see we took down the right web to almost nothing on this side, and it's about 3/8 of an inch right here. It's really hard to see, about 3/8 of an inch right here in thickness. So the front section here, all we're trying to do is follow this contour. I don't know if you can see the contour up here right here. Follow the contour of the subframe in order to get this to stick in. So I'm going to go ahead and install it real quick. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw this thing in. So, most importantly, you reuse your stock the fill hole and the drain hole. You're going to use those plugs from your stock diff cover. And on this iteration, we custom made this specifically for our race car right here, where it doesn't have the sensors, the sensor bungs, but your differential cover will have these on here. If you feel like you need to run a relocated stub shaft like we did, you can cut these off and it won't affect the strength or anything like that. And so we went ahead and machined these off on both sides, but the stock cover will come with the holes to kind of retain the sensors, or the electric sensors here. The second thing is when you install the bolts or studs going into the back of the differential cover, you want to use red Loctite to seal up the threads so that the gear oil doesn't leak through. Since we drilled and machined the threads all the way through the cover, you basically want to seal up the threads before kind of putting that on, or else it'll leak gear oil through the threads. You also want to seal these up too. If you're not going to run the sensors on either side, we provide a proper fastener, and you just put Loctite on the fastener and then put it into the hole in order for it to seal up the differential cover. On this one, we've already used a Fiftage or Permatex sealant all the way around and then tightened it on, opposite and adjacent to the proper torque from Nissan. So now we're ready for the installation portion of it. Something to note when installing this, it's really big, and you got to get the back portion of the cover into the subframe before it will kind of fit in correctly. So with that said, the stock sway bar, we didn't lower it down, but a tip is to undo these bolts and lower it down and push this up above the sway bar, and then get it to where this stub right here is above or around the sway bar in order for it to kind of go in correctly. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So if you're under the car, you're going to have to use a jack in order to jack it up and down, but you got to kind of tilt it pretty significant and kind of just shove it forward, and then kind of go up a little bit higher with your jack. If you have a forward jack and you do it on your back, then you just kind of jack it up essentially like this. Once you get that hump right here over this, it makes it a lot easier to get that back portion up under the car. We're almost there. So looks like we're close. think we're there. So now that we're almost in position where we need to go, we can then start jacking the rest of the differential, the back of the differential upward. And then as you can see, the back will kind of come in a lot easier once you get this part over it, just like that. And when I come back here, you can see that it's almost ready to go in. You need to go forward just a little bit more, and then it'll be ready. So you got to go forward and towards the passenger side on a USDM car in order for it to fit right there. There it is. It's perfect right there. So you got to kind of go closer to the passenger side on a USDM car and go up, and it'll get past that. Once it's past the sway bar right there, it actually goes up really easily. If you want to look right here, we basically, on this race car, we trimmed a small section right here, I would say 1/4 inch out of the back of the subframe to make it easier to take in and out. For, let's say you're at a race and you blow one up, which is rare, it makes it a lot easier to get in and out in a quick amount of time. But that's up to you if you want to do that. I definitely recommend doing that in order to install this correctly. We've actually already ran this diff for a full season just to test it out and see if it works, and it works really well. And the gearing is really, really long, because this is an automatic diff and we just welded it, which is a really inexpensive way. We got it mocked up for now. Axles are on, differentials bolted in, and we had to kind of mock these up to secure the top of the diff into the top portion of the subframe. You're going to expect an actual aluminum machine bushing once we finish up testing today. So we're going to go ahead and test today and verify that everything works good, and then we'll go ahead and post up this kit on the site. It's going to include the bushings for the front, this back diff cover with all the fasteners to kind of assemble it in. And so as you're looking at this system here, we actually cut down the stock 350Z stub shafts and welded on another plate onto the end of it to bring the axles in closer to where you can run stock axles. However, we're right now working on a kit where you don't have to modify the stub shafts at all. It is going to cost a lot more money, but it's going to push everything out further and require you run different discs for the braking. So the downside is more money. The good side is you won't have to kind of cut and weld and remachine these stub shafts for 350Z. So look forward to that on the website. As always, you can find these kits on collinsadapters.com. This specific kit is going to be under the swap kits page of the website and the adaptation components page under differentials. So again, I'm Brett Collins. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on post notifications to get the latest from us here at Collins Technologies.